Brandon Lawson was 26 years old when he vanished on a remote Texas highway in the early morning hours of August 9, 2013. A father of 4, with a steady job in the oil fields, Brandon was working to get his life back on track. He had struggled with substance use in the past, particularly methamphetamine, but according to those close to him, he had been staying clean and was trying to build stability for his family. He lived in San Angelo with his longtime girlfriend, Lawson, and their 3 young children. He also had a 4th child from a previous relationship. That August night, Brandon and Lawson got into an argument, reportedly about his recent relapse. Brandon left the house abruptly, just before midnight. He told Lawson he was going to his father's house in Crowley, Texas, more than 3 hours away. He packed a few things but left behind his phone charger. An odd omission for such a long drive through rural areas with poor reception. Around 12:30 a.m., just about 45 minutes into the trip, Brandon called his younger brother Kyle and said he had run out of gas near Bronte, Texas. He asked Kyle to bring him a gas can, but there was something unusual about Brandon's voice during that call. He sounded panicked. At one point, he told Kyle that 3 men were chasing him out of town. Kyle asked if he had called the police. Brandon didn't give a clear answer, but the urgency in his voice made it obvious that something was wrong. While Kyle and his girlfriend were en route to meet him, Brandon placed a call to 911. It was 12:50 a.m. The call was routed to emergency dispatchers in neighboring Coke County, due to how cell tower routing works in rural Texas. The 911 audio was difficult to understand. Some words were garbled, and Brandon seemed disoriented, but parts of it were clear enough to raise alarm. He said, "Yes, I'm in the middle of a field, pulled some guys over, right here going toward Abilene on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's 1 car here. The guy's chasing me into the woods. Please, hurry." The dispatcher asked if he needed an ambulance. Brandon responded, "No, I need the cops." That response, direct, urgent, and strained, has stuck with everyone who's listened to the call. It's one of the most chilling pieces of audio in any modern missing persons case. Around this same time, Brandon also called Kyle again and said, "I'm bleeding." Kyle would later speculate that Brandon, while frightened, may have also been hiding from law enforcement. He had an active warrant stemming from a prior charge and may have feared arrest, even as he tried to get help. When Kyle and his girlfriend arrived at the scene around 1:10 a.m., they found Brandon's silver Ford F-150 abandoned on the side of the road. The truck was unlocked, parked unevenly, and indeed out of gas. A sheriff's deputy had already arrived and was shining a flashlight around the area. They assumed Brandon had fled on foot, maybe to avoid arrest because of the warrant. Kyle said he received another call from Brandon shortly after arriving, but the reception was so poor that he couldn't understand anything. That was the last time anyone ever heard from him. Brandon's phone went silent after 1:19 a.m., which was also when it made its final ping to a cell tower near Bronte. Despite being close to the area, neither Kyle nor law enforcement were able to locate him that night. The deputy reportedly saw a man walking nearby with a flashlight, but didn't confirm who it was and assumed it was Brandon. In the following days, Brandon was officially reported missing. Kyle cooperated fully with investigators and later passed a polygraph test. Lawson and other family members gave interviews and organized search efforts, but there were no sightings, no calls, no withdrawals, no transactions. It was as if Brandon had vanished completely. Several theories began to circulate. Some believed Brandon had been hallucinating, possibly due to drug use, and ran into the woods in a paranoid state. Others suspected foul play, that he may have encountered someone who meant him harm. Some believed he had fled to avoid arrest, but that didn't explain the 911 call or why he never contacted his family again. Another possibility was accidental death. The terrain surrounding the highway is dense with brush, steep drops, snakes, and little visibility. If Brandon had fled into that area at night, injured or confused, he could have quickly become disoriented and succumbed to the elements. Despite several volunteer searches, including dogs and aerial scans, nothing was found. Not a shoe, not a piece of clothing, not even a dropped item from his pockets. It became one of the most frustrating parts of the case. How someone could disappear within a mile of people actively looking for him and still never be found. Years went by. Then, in February of 2022, human remains were discovered in a field near where Brandon's truck had been left. His family was notified, and in December of 2024, DNA testing confirmed the remains belonged to Brandon Lawson. No official cause of death has been released. Law enforcement has not publicly stated whether there were signs of injury or foul play. Brandon's death brought a sense of finality, but not resolution. The core questions remain unanswered. Why did Brandon sound so terrified? Who, or what, did he believe was chasing him? What caused him to bleed? Why wasn't he found during the initial search when he was likely less than 1,000 feet from where his truck had stopped? The only person who knew the full truth was Brandon. And now, that truth is buried with him beneath the West Texas sky. This is the story of Brandon Lawson.